Hello, it's Doris with Aldi Books. I thought I'd give you a little summer catch up this week. I am currently in Alberta, Canada. Last week we did Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming, Yellowstone with my kid. It was just such an amazing experience. Definitely. Saw Greg from Supposedly Fun and Joel. Went to Montana Book Company. So I have a book haul video for you if you haven't seen that yet. And I again didn't film much. I do have Old Faithful. We saw Old Faithful. That was it just felt like a pilgrimage for nature lovers. If you haven't been, they have like about 3 rows of benches kind of in a corral seating around Old Faithful, and people just start trickling in. Old Faithful erupts every hour and a half ish, and the more people that come, the closer you are to the eruption, and you're all just waiting, and it's just an experience. Yeah, definitely. So I'll put that little clip at the end if you want to see Old Faithful erupt. And the only other thing I have is Brent, my boyfriend, roaming a random parking lot, which you can tell by that clip that I found it greatly amusing. So I'll stick that on the end. But yeah, it's been great. We've finally reached the relaxing portion. I mean, we've been relaxing, but the first week we were kind of doing the touristy things in Vietnam. We did the cruise, if you want to see that. And then last week, it was just kind of nonstop visiting people and seeing nature, hiking, kayaking, Old Faithful, Yellowstone. So I'm finally settling into my summer groove, just spending time with family and catching up on all those summer things, including reading. So far this summer, I read 7 books in June, and I purchased 7 books in June. So I think I need to read a few more in July to keep up with how many I'm going to buy in July, because I'm feeling like there's going to be 2 or 3 more mega book hauls. So I'll definitely keep you posted. But speaking of nature and pilgrimages, I need to check in on the books, especially the book Naturalists. So A Sting in the Tail, My Adventures with Bumblebees by Dave Goulson, who is the founder of the Bumblebee Conservation Trust in the UK. Just finished this one, and this is a reread for me. This is one of my all-time favorites, and it stood up to the reread. It was just delightful. If you are not much into nonfiction or nature writing, this is a great place to start if you're interested. He's a professor, an entomologist specializing in bumblebees, and he just has such a charming voice. He presents, all sorts of cutting edge-ish. I mean, this was 2011 or something, but all of his research, like, he presents it so well, and it's so easily accessible, and he keeps it so engaging. So you find out all about the different projects that he's been involved in with his research, and so much about bumblebees and nature, just presented in such an engrossing manner. It's just immensely readable. I highly recommend this. And if you did read this and you want more, might I recommend this one, A Buzz in the Meadow, The Natural History of a French Farm. So you get a little taste of this at the end of A Sting in the Tail. So he has purchased some substantial acreage in the countryside in France and has let it go back to its natural meadowland state over quite a few years. And so this book just details all of the critters that, not all of them, I'm sure there's just tons, but just several delightful, charming vignettes. Like, those are my two favorite words. And I just keep wanting to dump them on these two books because they're just so good. But it's just charming little vignettes about the nature that he encounters on his farm in France. I love that he has raised his boys in this kind of environment. A Sting in the Tail, the opening of this one, he talks about, that his parents were both teachers, but they weren't themselves naturalists. His dad was a historian and his mom was a PE teacher. And they kind of fed his interests, but bugs weren't theirs. But he talks about a teacher that he had in primary school that really got him involved in just the great outdoors, collecting, and it made me so happy. I hope I'm that teacher for my kids. If you don't know, I'm a school teacher. I'm currently teaching in China, and I have a club that's called the Flora and Fauna Club that's just focused on the nature on our campus. And not last year, but the year before, I taught first grade math and science, and every year I teach pre-K discovery. And I just really try to get my kids outside and engaged with nature. So it was just lovely to read, how impactful that can be, because this guy has grown up to be an entomologist who is, preserving the world for bumblebees and, everything else. So highly recommend these books. They are just so good. Might I gush more. So our next read for the Book Naturalist Book Club is another favorite. Oh, so good. I Contain Multitudes, The Microbes Within Us and a Grander View of Life by Ed Young, Pulitzer Prize winner. Oh, yeah. This book, if you're my age and grew up in the States, you might remember Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. This book, I know you might think, oh my gosh, that's dry microbiology. What, Doris? Oh, this book is so engaging as well. Like, he writes about these, little microorganisms within us, the mutualistic ones, the good ones that we need to survive. He writes about them like, there are these, I don't know, lions on the Serengeti. It's just great. Highly recommend. And another one, like The Light Eaters, that I just read last year. I think I bought it last summer when I was on my travels. Just as good. It reminds me of these books that are just such cutting edge research, but so engaging. So anyway, really, really great books. And speaking of great books, I wanted to talk about a couple that I read last month that I think put me in a book slump because they were so good. So The Butchering Art, Joseph Lister's Quest to Transform the Grisly World of Victorian Medicine by Lindsay Fitzharris. She is the author of The Facemaker, that I think was on the BookTube prize list last year, possibly the long list. And this, if you know me, I like medical science nonfiction. I don't know why, but it really works for me. And this one was great. So Joseph Lister helped revolutionize modern medicine surgery specifically in creating a sterile field and the use of antiseptics. So he kind of opened the door for like a lot of internal medicine surgery, more than just like cutting off your extremities. I know I'm weird, but this was great. So good, so good. And then right after that, I picked up These Precious Days by Ann Patchett. And I think I'd been holding off on this one a little bit because I had maybe heard mixed reviews about it. And it was just, like there was one, this is an essay collection, kind of a memoir, but just moments in her life essay collection. And there was one, every essay just really hit. They all really worked for me. But this one, there was one that she's talking about Tom Hanks. And, you know, he wrote the book about the typewriters and whatnot. But she wrote one talking about she'd been purging, like, in her home, getting rid of things. And, which, you know, if you know me, also, you know, I like to do that. But she was talking about getting rid of a typewriter that she had an emotional connection to, and she didn't want to get rid of it. But I don't want to spoil it. I almost cried. Like, maybe I did shed a tear or two. But the way she crafts this, so they're individual vignettes, but the whole collection kind of comes around and has a little bit of a story arc somewhat, and dealing with grief. Really, really good. So those books were like so good that I had trouble picking up my next read. I DNF'd like 3 books in June. So anyway, I also had to start the BookTube prize reading in June. And I am happy to report, as of July 2nd, I have finished 4 of my 6 for that. And I've started the 5th. And I can't talk about them. So I can't talk about them until the round is over, which it won't be until July, the end of July. But I did want to mention that it was super cool to be reading Slow Noodles. I mentioned I was just in Vietnam, and I read this while I was in Vietnam. And the subtitle is A Cambodian Memoir of Love, Loss, and Family Recipes by Chantha Nguyen. She's actually of Vietnamese heritage. So it's just really cool to be reading about that while I was there. I like it when that happens. So I can't really talk about the book, my thoughts, but that was pretty cool. And then I did want to mention also Knife by Salman Rushdie, Meditations After an Attempted Murder. This was also on my list for the book to prize this round. And this is his nonfiction. I mean, he's got more than one, but this is his most recent. This is my first Salman Rushdie. So I would like to read one of his fiction pieces. So I'm leaning toward, I think, Midnight's Children. But if you have a recommendation for a fiction, a novel by Salman Rushdie, please let me know, because I do think I need to read at least one of his fiction pieces. Anyway, and then to catch you up on my currently reading, you're going to laugh if you've been here. I have had this thing on the go, Washington, A Life by Ron Chernow, another Pulitzer Prize winner, for 6 months now. What? I can't remember the last time I've had a book on the go. And I read bits and pieces now and then, and it's good, obviously. I don't know. I think things just keep getting in the way. But anyway, I've started the Presidential Project, you know, the read all the U.S. presidents in chronological order. But at this pace, it's going to be quite a while. I also haven't finished Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros yet. I don't know what's going on there either. It's good. I mean, I don't think it's as good as the first. Like, a lot of it seems more the same. So maybe that's it. But anyway, I just finished an audiobook. I'm listening to this on audio, and the book 2 prize number 4 was audiobook. So, but book 2 prize number 5 is also audio. So I think that one's not going to be like a page turner. It's going to be more like, I think it might be essays. I'm not sure. So maybe I'll like tag team the two, intersperse the book 2 prize number 4 with Iron Flame. We shall see. And then I think that's it, except I did start Greenwood by Michael Christie. This was off my shelves. This is one that, did I bring it with? No. This is one from Hong Kong. I bought this in Hong Kong a couple years ago. Just trying to read down my shelves because, you know, I'm in the book buying portion of my school year. So I want to read down my physical TBR. So I grabbed this and one more that I brought with me, and it was a little slow the first few pages, but as is typical often with me and novels, I usually get hooked by page 60. So yeah, that's where I am. Hoping, I want to read a lot this month. I've set a goal of 100 pages a day. We'll see. So let's talk. Tell me what you think. Do you get in book slumps after reading really great books? Like, does that ever put you in a slump? I don't know. How many pages do you read in a book before you really get hooked, with novels especially? And Salman Rushdie, do you have a recommendation for me with his fiction? How's your reading going? Have you set any goals? Are you a goal setter? Have you set any for July? Yeah, I think I'm gonna get back to it. So hopefully I will get a little bit more video footage for the next one. We'll see. In the meantime, enjoy Old Faithful and the random parking lot. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye. Like, here we are. There's a gas station, and that's it. And there's Brent. And there's Brent off roaming, because that's what he does. He roams. Oh my goodness.